Hello everyone, Dana14 Prime here. Today I want to check out with you guys the Transformers Takara LG60. This is Leader Class Overlord. Definitely been looking forward to this one. Typical pack up, nice big box, nice big artwork down here of Overlord with or without the Power Masters or Headmasters in his chest. You get the two guys up there, Chief Giga and Mega. This side of the box over here we get the artwork. And then over here we get the product shots, often with the Headmasters interacting with the vehicles, showing the different modes. Again, combined jet tank, pretty cool, and then base mode there at the bottom. Around the back of the box here, showing all the different modes in action. Bot mode with the Power Masters in, base mode, tank and jet. Show off the combined mode a bit here, which Hasbro really kind of passed on. And then the bot here again with the chest closed. Then top of the box here, we get our Headmaster effect going on with either face you'd like to use. Okay, very cool. Let's pop this guy in the box, check him out. Let's take a quick look at the pamphlet here with the Overlord. Of course, we'll get the artwork there, kind of his two different setups. On that side and over here, all the product shots. Again, they tend to be showing this Overlord Giga, a more toon-accurate look, and then Overlord Mega, the lady, with kind of the closed chest look. Whatever, you could do either way, and the different modes. And of course, his tech specs. Interestingly, they do actually differentiate a bit between the two. And then inside, of course, we get comic. Let's take a spin. This is pretty cool. A lot of recognizable characters. Obviously Overlord, Giga, Mega. Jinrai is in there. There's the Super Jinrai, and there's Jinrai, the dude. And Mega, the girl. Yes, in the cartoon, her breasts are that big. It's not just this little comic book. And then there's Giga. And if we come to the other side, they're still going at it here. And kind of what I'm bothering to show this to you is it culminates in this different Overlord setup here, which you can create when you have two Overlord figures to combine for this. So we'll do that because we've got Hasbro and we've got Takara. So we'll put this guy together. And then, of course, instructions are in here as well. And here we have Overlord. He looks cool. I'm definitely looking forward to this figure, this version of him. They have done some retooling for us. And, of course, lots of deco differences. And we'll take a moment to compare him to his G1 cartoon and, of course, the Hasbro character. Definitely the remolding is just up here, right? The helmet gets remolded. He's got different Headmasters, so you get different looks. But definitely Giga is the G1 toon look. The chest here, of course, this has been retooled a bit, and they fill in the Power Masters slots. That is not the Headmasters folded up in there. That's just inserted there, fixed. Seems to be fixed. Haven't really been able to easily get that out. So they've gone ahead and filled something in there. That is the main differences. Takara likes you to use this foot configuration, which gets him, a little bit taller than having that foot flat, which is how Hasbro's would be from a direction perspective in terms of the directions. Otherwise, it's a good toon likeness, and I'll point out the shortcomings that the mold just has overall relative to the toon. But for what they've been able to work with, I think it looks pretty good in terms of the deco, and the little bit of remolding they've done, I think it helps quite a bit. Let's go ahead and compare him to his G1 self. Again, I think overall it's pretty good, and even the Hasbro's was pretty good, but of course Takara has taken it to the next level and tightened it up. The main thing being just the overall color scheme. He's a darker blue, which he needed to be. So Takara has taken care of that for us. They've given us the right chest accent with the retooling there. They've changed that piece out. They've filled in the Power Masters. That's how he looked in the cartoon. I will say this is good and this makes sense and this is how it should be done. I know as that cartoon went on and on, it became more and more stylized. And these eventually seemed like they were just like wings coming off his shoulders once you get to the very end of the series. But this is definitely, I think, good for how he looked for most of the series, and certainly very early on. They've picked up the color of the feet, which is one of the differences Hasbro is definitely short on. Of course, we saw that's a big sacrifice in tank mode, so don't know if I agree with it for the combined total figure, but for the bot mode, it definitely helps a lot. It hurts a lot in the tank mode, and we'll see that. Otherwise, just clean, nice white arms all the way down, the blue down into the teal. Now, in terms of, and then the helmet, of course, nice remolded helmet there to get a better G1 look. And then the fundamental mold shortcomings is really just a couple things which would have been impossible to fix, quite frankly. For one, the whole chest is just layered different, I'll say, or the whole contours of it are basically backwards. Really kind of his pectoral section should be protruding. The sternum piece should be going in. Same with kind of through the midsection here. These things should kind of go in a bit and then just have the barrel sticking out. So that was always an issue with the Hasbro mold overall. It's just kind of, backwards. His chest shouldn't set back. It should set out. Things like that just, there was no way they were going to be fixed. Also, things on the legs, like really the white tank piece should be on the outside, and you shouldn't see the tank treads there. They should actually be on the back. Again, practically impossible, because how are you going to put the legs together to make a tank if the tank's on the outside and the treads on the back? Would have been much more difficult, but again, that's just a mold shortcoming that there's no way Takara was going to be able to fix. So those types of things aside, I think they did what they could in the deco and with some retooling to step this up a bit for G1. And because most of the good new work by Takara is upstairs here, I just want to come in a bit closer and take a look again at the retooling at the chest, see how that compares to the cartoon. And again, you can see some of what I'm talking about just in terms of the fundamental mold, sort of the chest of the shape difference. It's there and nothing you can do about that. They took a shot here. You got this wheel there. They painted it white. The Decepticon logo should be there as well, but difficult to do when there's a wheel there. But definitely, I think, big improvement from Hasbro to get us closer to Super God Master Force G1 cartoon. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks good. So let's go ahead and drop in Hasbro here, and I've got him with the flat foot configuration, which is how they'd want his bot mode to look, versus Takara liking to use that little foot hack, which gets him maybe, a half inch or so taller, and you can see that showing up at the headline, where his chest basically, cuts across the forehead of the Hasbro version, and you're picking up that extra height. Otherwise, we'll just do a bit of wide angle here. You're going to see basically all the same stuff, just the blue deco. Hasbro's got some stickers on, which of course Takara always removes and takes away. See some nice teal accent here on the tank. That's a nice add. Some white in here. We'll see that come into play somewhere, I suppose. So Hasbro's used some white plastic or something on the back there. We'll see just where exactly that pops. The gun is the same. The tank treads, kind of a dull gray paint for Hasbro, and it get like a shiny metallic gunmetal for Takara. All right, so let's go in closer on this main chest area. Okay, so we jump in, and I've flipped him. Takara on the left, which is where I usually keep him. Hasbro on the right. Take a look at that head sculpt. You can see the totally different helmet there, crafted up by Takara to give us a nice Master Force likeness. You see how that looks, and check out their headmasters in there. We'll pull them out to get a closer look. But that is very different. Again, the chest, Takara's remolded this piece, so it's just totally different in terms of how they're painting it and everything. Hasbro did a nice job actually painting this, but Takara's just keeping it simple and matching up the arms. Takara's painted the centerpiece here, so we don't have that black. They both did a nice job kind of painting some of these accents with the gun sections. And then, of course, Takara gave us the white down here, but couldn't give us the Decepticon logo. And, of course, the all-blue crotch versus the black crotch area there. No stickers. Hasbro's got Decepticon logo sticker there. That's gone. And I'd say the purples up there on his shoulder, basically the same. And then, of course, the big difference, if you open up the Takara chest, you get molding on the other side that actually molds out and faces. And then they fill in Giga and Mega in the Power Master form in the chest, which looks great. Hasbro over here. By the way, I've got them both flat-footed, in case you're wondering, just to be able to compare them easier. Hasbro, you had the holes where if you try to put a Titan Master in there, it would basically get jammed all the time. And the inside of these flaps really do just look like, well, the hollows inside of something, with a tab hooked over there to peg it in and for the tank mode. So it just never really looked as good out wide and didn't really get flat either. That was the thing. If you look at that, Hasbro's still I don't know, 45-degree angle maybe. Whereas Takara, you can really get flat down onto the shoulder. So they thought about that when they engineered that piece too. So looks good. Pretty happy with that. Now we'll just jump down the lower body. Again, I was happy with Hasbro doing the teal and everything. They got some tempos or something on there, which Takara kept clean. Takara gave us the full purple foot. Hasbro just sort of teased it in there so as to not disrupt the tank mode. Closer shot there in terms of the plain gray versus a nice metallic paint there by Takara. And again, this is just where the mold doesn't quite look like the cartoon. We got the tank on the back of the legs. Same thing on this side. Then if we just take a bit of a side look here, I mean, there's less and less difference. Again, Takara giving us a full white arm versus the gray there. I think the back, you know, we saw from the wide angle, there's just some stickers and stuff, which Takara cleans up for us. Like on these fins, they're gone, things like that. And then I will say here, if we just get the arm out of the way, keeping this gray up here on the ball joint, this is actually tune accurate too. So having that little bit of splash of gray up there high on the thigh for both would be tune accurate. And they both kept that. Here, let's take a look at Giga and Mega. Giga the guy on the left, Mega on the right. Oh, it's Giga. It's G-I-G-A, spelled like Giga. But from the voiceover version of the show I watched, it always sounded more like Chief Giga. And then here's the woman, of course. We never really saw her face in the cartoon, I don't believe. But they've given us an option, of course, and I think that's a pretty cool way to do it. Feminine Overlord. And then just in terms of what Hasbro had did for us, drop him in there as well. It worked pretty well, but, you know, definitely wasn't the toon version of the toy. But, all right, so if we get these guys folded out here, it's pretty good. Pretty good Headmasters. You can see it's got like their helmets, the gold and the silver trim in the helmets. It's got the teal look to it. The arms have their respective white or blue tint. The legs as well. So it looks good. You know, for as small as they are and how much detail you can put in there, I think there's a good amount there, and it looks good, particularly with the face. And then again here, this is what Hasbro gave us. They actually took a shot, you know, actually painting the face gold as well. Teal helmet, and almost looks like an accent on the forehead. So even Hasbro gave a bit of an effort, just not really molded to be either of these characters. And then both Hasbro and Takara give us the same gun with the same color. Hasbro just chose, or Takara chose, excuse me, not to paint up the handle, it looks like, but otherwise these are exactly the same. And here, let me quickly just go ahead and show you the Overlord Mega with that feminine head sculpt in there. You can see how that looks with the closed chest. I guess this is sort of her official look. But of course, you know, all this still works. You know, I mean, overall, I think the difference is subtle. If they didn't give you two, you know, they probably could have went with this one, and you'd have thought it was okay as well. Okay, so if we come back and put these guys into their tank and jet modes, you just pull it apart here at the waist. Just being stubborn. So here's the tank. Make the front end just by folding the feet up. Transformation is really simple, so this figure is, you know, fun. Flip out the figure's just tight. Flip up the white tank pieces here. And then you just kind of fold him over on top of himself. Put him back together. Then grab his gun and drop that in as well. Super simple, very playable. And if we grab the jet mode here, spin the helmet around, drop down the backpack area, push in the arms, put the wings out, flip in the hand. So just push in the arm, get the wing situated, flip in the hand. The arms will peg against the body. Then you grab the shield, and that just kind of pegs right back in as well. And he's got a landing gear. There we go. You can drop down too. So if we compare Giga into tank mode, again, the foot makes the big sacrifice on the front end. It's barely noticeable here with Hasbro. You get a better tank section here. They both have sticker or maybe tempo here. Definitely looks like sticker for Hasbro, hopefully tempo for Takara. But then you get it outlined in blue. That's more toon accurate. Of course, the overall color looks better. Side by side, again, tank treads, color. Same things have been pointing out. You do get the teal accent here on the tank that shows through good. Really nothing special on the back there. And on the top there. But also you see the teal accent there from the top looking good. And also here just on the front, on the top, excuse me, a darker orange canopy versus more of a translucent here for Hasbro. Again, overall the teal paint, because they were same on the shins, comes through the same for tank mode. So it's interesting. I mean, a big price to pay there on the front of the nose, though they've added this nice little detail. But of course, having the darker blue is a big difference as well. But Takara did it, you know, not perfectly. But aside from these big purple front ends, it's, you know, very, very toon accurate. So when we get Mega's jet here, it's little things, you know, no stickers, no paint apps even. On Takara, just straight black all the way through. Hasbro had stickers, Takara just keeping it plain white. Again, all the way through. Again, a bit of a darker orange cockpit and Decepticon logo there and smaller versus definitely sticker on the front of the nose there for Hasbro. Bit of a side view here, Hasbro on the bottom. Not much really pops from the side other than sticker on the tail fin versus straight purple for Takara. I keep flipping these around, but here, Takara on the left, you can take a closer look at that nose and the Decepticon logo versus Hasbro and the sticker there, and also the cockpit differences. You get not only some of the orange, but it was actually Hasbro just really filling in all the, what would be support beams or poles, you know, through the windows. Whereas Hasbro, or Takara, excuse me, just keeping it all orange. So they actually didn't do some of that detailing paint that Hasbro did. Then here you got the back view of Interested Takara on the bottom. Nothing really significant, but you see some of the black versus blue differences, just little bot differences popping through. And then, of course, the underside, if interested, is going to be just a lot of the bot chest. And then just while we're here, since Takara makes it official, the combined mode for these guys, if you just open up the chest, and it was true of Hasbro as well, there's a tab here and a slot here on the tank. So they kind of connect here, though the hold is very weak. You can put these two together like that. You know, they'll stay like that in a pose, I guess. But really it is not a secure connection. And definitely if you try to pick up the jet gently, it'll work. But the moment you try to... I will say it's better with Takara. I think with this remolded piece, it does hold a bit better. But still not perfect, but actually much better than Hasbro. So here we have what I think is the best combined mode of Over Terra, I believe this is called. And again, later class figure here just for scale comparison. Good deluxe figure, bigger. This holds together all right. I mean, the main thing is just the base. It just stands on the tank. But if we check this thing out here, I'll let you kind of take a look. Using a tank base here, and really this figure's just standing on it. There's no good way to connect those that I can tell. And you're more or less just taking an Overlord figure and connecting them at that shoulder joint, neck joint piece between the heads. So I'll show you that. This is what it looks like. You know, pretty cool. I don't know. I guess you could put it on display if you wanted to like that. Just jump in here so you can take a look and give it a bit of a pan for you. Thing is pretty tall. Again, you can just take a look at how all that comes together. And then in terms of getting this combined mode, and that just stands on there. So take your Hasbro tank piece and make it look like this, which is kind of like base mode, basically. Getting close to base mode. That's going to be your foundation. Take your Takara figure, plug the jet in his chest, have the panels out, open, and put them on the side. That's really all you're doing to your Takara figure. And then your Hasbro figure, this is the Hasbro collar there. See how that just connects? So his backpack and everything is folded up on his back with the jet there, because that gives the jet down between the legs look, just like is in the comic book. And again, you want to get the shoulders pointed down like in the comic book. So to do that, you just take your Hasbro guy like this. You kind of twist his arms and fold them up backwards. Put his backpack piece back. Fold these jet flaps over. And his arms are, you know, backwards and folded down. The gun's in the bottom of the hand. And then to combine it, you're just basically going to put their respective heads into the clip sections, right? So suppose the front's the best way, but his shoulder pack is just going to come over the Takara piece, just like that. And what happens in the back is the Hasbro piece just goes down into like the jet backpack. See? Hole there. So that's how that comes together. And then again, stand them on the base. That's it. Pretty stable once you get them up there. You think it'll be backpack heavy, but it actually does okay. Over Terra. And then here he does have his Fortress mode, which was in the cartoon, so nice that it's an option. If you need instructions for transformation, check out my Hasbro video. It's pretty simple. But you can see the main differences that show through are kind of, the tank mode details. Of course, kind of the blue color differences, but then it's just some of the tank mode details. I will say in all of this, we never really found a use for this. Like why it does this. It is helpful to bring that down, otherwise that's a pain in the butt. So never really saw that put to use, but it is handy because sometimes that red door is a pain in the butt. But here we go, Fortress mode. It's all right, both are good, and it's just really some of the color and deco differences that show through. So there you have it, guys. Takara versus Hasbro Leader Class Overlord figure. I think both toys are very good. I always liked the Hasbro version. I thought it's great that we get a version of Overlord here in the States made by Hasbro, considering we don't have a lot of toy or toon history with Overlord, if at all, with him here in the States. Takara definitely taking it up a notch. Big price difference when you start talking Leader Class Takara figure. But if you're into the Master Force and the unique Japanese Transformers, I think, you got to go Takara with this version because the look is just, really different with the deep blue differences, the chest remold and the helmet and things like that. The Headmaster has a big impact to the overall look of the figure. So I'm glad I picked the guy up. I understand other people are going to be happy with the Hasbro version considering the price difference. If you're interested in picking up Takara Overlord, links in the description below, or the Hasbro version for that matter. Check my Amazon page. I think Titan's Return is going to be starting to get cleared out here as Power of the Primes comes more and more into distribution. So if you haven't picked him up, look for a deal on him on Amazon. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you next time.